let's go into the next part where we're going to now reproduce what we just did with WriteSonic in ChatGPT. So we're going to create a prompt using the same information that we fed into WriteSonic, but doing directly in ChatGPT. So let's get into that. All right, so I'm going to use my, I have a paid account with ChatGPT. We're going to use it for the exploration here. But at the end, what we're going to do is I'm going to encourage everybody to go and create your own free account. And then we're going to play around. I'm going to give you the final prompt that we get here, and then we're going to play around with it for tone and style. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to flip back and forth here again. So I've got my ChatGPT up here. Okay, I'll make this a little bit bigger so everyone can see it well. So we are going to start with the base prompt. So we are putting this now into a certain persona. You are an expert LinkedIn copywriter. Create a LinkedIn post based on the following. Let's see what happens if we don't give it any constraints. We just send this in. So it's smart enough to know it doesn't have any context to be able to do this. So it says, I need some context. What do you want to write about? Okay, good. That's what we want. So let's give it more context. So we are going to now add the primary focus. So same primary focus, we're going to do a fun and engaging lesson about circles of AI. And what we're going to do is, in terms of the way we put it in here, I am going to assemble it in pieces now. Take the previous prompt, and we're going to add a bullet with the primary focus. So I had an amazing time at Circles of AI. We talked about content generation. It made up some stuff about what we learned. Did we cover this? I didn't tell it to do this, so it's hallucinated and made up stuff. It's kind of close to the audience that we wanted, but not necessarily quite right. And it's quite long. So let's try to improve on this now. Okay, so I'm going to copy this down again, and we're going to add another bullet. So our next one is our goal. So we're going to add the goal details. So showcase engaging learning experience and get other people to explore the opportunities here. Okay, so let's try that now. So we embarked on a thrilling journey. Embarked is another AI word that I say all the time. So key takeaways. So we had some storytelling, visual content creation. No, made up still. Idea generation, boosting productivity. No, that's not what we've covered. So it's still making up stuff. So we want to narrow this down further. Okay, let's add some more now. So, all right, so we've added the target audience now. And so let's add that and see how that changes things. Okay, so it's still covering things that we didn't really talk about, talking about visual wonders, storytelling, but it's getting a little bit better. Okay, so it's now talking about professionals in AI and tech. So it's added our audience in here. Okay, so good. Let's add our tone and style now. So as you can see, what I'm doing in the prompt is I'm simply adding the constraints as bullets under the instructions at the top. So you've got, here's your persona, here's what I want you to do, and here's the constraints narrowing down the scope of what the post is focusing on. And so we just keep doing that until we get a post that is aligned with what we're trying to do. Okay. So it's getting closer. But you know what? What's really missing is we're missing the context on what it is we're doing. And this is also a little bit long. So let's add those last bits. We've got our word limit. I'm just going to add them both in at the same time. Okay, so let's submit this and see what happens. So see how it said it was searching the site? So that's where it went out and it made a call to the browser to go search information, and then it's now included that. Okay, this looks quite different than our last post. So now all of a sudden it is narrowing it down to that 50 to 100 words and really nailing down what it is we want to copy here or cover here. So we're focused on creativity. We've dove into practical examples for content generation, and then using that for stories. Okay, it still isn't quite right because it's got visuals. So you can see, like, sometimes it's really hard to get it to really focus on what you're trying to do. So hands-on session was fun and super engaging. Target audience is covered, and then join us for possibilities. Check out Circles of AI, and then it gives us some.
Sometimes, James, what I find that is also because this is also one of the things that ChatGPT does remember is the history of the conversation, right? So that's probably why it still says some captivating stories and visuals. You can say ignore everything up to this point and sort of start from scratch, or you could start new and maybe we can just see what it would do there. But one of the things to keep in mind is once it sort of has something in mind, it's a little bit like a dog with a bone and might not quite let it go. So, so if you really want it to, you almost either want to start a whole new chat, or you can tell it to ignore, everything up to that point, and then, start from scratch. Yeah.
So let's create a new chat and just see if it tries to keep that. So I pasted in the whole post here, or the whole prompt. Let's try again. Okay, so it's a little different. It didn't put a headline in here, a hook. So that was interesting. So we explored magic content creation, practical prompts examples. So no mention of graphics or visuals. Okay, so it's nice, concise post, focused on creativity, prompting, practical, and an audience.